Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. Fresh Off the Boat just finished its first season. Joining us today from the show, Randall Park.
Hey,
Welcome.
thank you for having. There it is. Thank you for having me. This is very
So,
cool.
yeah, as much as I love the show,
Yeah.
and congratulations on the success.
Thank you.
Kind of bummed that it prevented a Selena Meyer, Danny Chung ticket.
I know. I'm bummed about that too. I love doing Fresh Off the Boat, but I am bummed about the limited time I have to be able to do Veep. It's such a great show.
And that was it, right? I mean, you were on one episode of this season of Veep.
Yeah. Well, literally the season where we shot Fresh Off the Boat is when we started was when Veep started.
Right.
And when we ended was kind of around where Veep ended. So I had one hiatus where it just kind of lined up and I was able to come out and do a little bit on Veep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was just enough to turn down the job, the vice presidential job.
Yeah,
which was perfect, kind of.
Yeah, it was a great little moment.
Yeah. Why do you think? What's the real reason that Danny Chung turned down? We never really saw. What's your?
I think he has plans. He's strategized this whole thing, and he has plans, and maybe we'll see what those plans are.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Depending on how far Fresh Off the Boat gets in season 2.
Yeah, exactly. He may come back for one episode next season and reveal those plans.
Right.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how was it making? I mean, your star Constance Wu was in here a couple of weeks ago.
Great, Constance Wu. Yeah.
Yeah. Lot of hype about this show.
Yeah, it was.
It couldn't be just like a show. It had to be a show,
It was a show. Yeah, and I was coming from the interview, so it was just like one thing after another. It was a big deal. In the community, especially, it was a really big deal. It had been over 20 years, since we've had a Asian American family on network TV. With Margaret Cho's show, All American Girl. So it was like a lot of pressure, to do it right.
Yeah.
Represent properly,
It's just not enough to be funny. You have to, and the scrutiny was incredible. And it's hard, a show in its first year, you're trying to find your voice. A lot of great TV series from the past, that first season, you're just kind of finding your way.
Yeah, you watch like any first season of any like long running hit TV show, and it's always like a little bit clunky, And I think one thing we had going for us was that our show was mid-season, so we got to shoot our entire first season before we even aired a single episode. So at the very least, we were able to kind of be within this bubble and just kind of do what we wanted to do without worrying about. I mean, it was all speculation out there. It wasn't like, oh, we've seen the episodes and you guys should do this. So, we didn't have to like listen to any of that. We just did what we wanted to do. And I think that thankfully it worked to our advantage. People seem to like the show.
Yeah. So to prep for this part, playing the father.
Yeah.
You got to go back to Orlando.
Oh, yeah. Great city.
And yeah, you did the whole thing. Epcot and
No, we did it. Well, we went to some chain restaurants, which was great. We saw.
Because you're hanging out with Eddie Huang's family.
Yeah, with his family, and we hung out at their home. We sang karaoke, which was pretty cool. Louis Huang, the actual Louis Huang, who I play, who is a great man, gave us a tour of Orlando and took us to the original spot where the Cattleman's Ranch was, which was cool. Now
what's there now?
It's a Hooters. It's a Hooters.
Of course. Like all the little individual, restaurants haven't just been completely obliterated by chains.
Exactly. But it was cool to see, and it was cool to be there with him and actually like standing there in front of the Hooters, like these people would come out of the woodwork and just be like, "Hey, Louis," and they'd come up to him and shake his hand. And I was like, "Oh, this guy's like the mayor of the city," People love him, and that really actually helped me with kind of my approach to the character. I mean, this is a guy that people love, you know? Yeah.
So that was good just to see that.
It was a good part of him that I was able to hold on to, for the character.
And you said karaoke?
Yeah, we sang karaoke. At,
what's your go-to song?
It Had to Be You. Yeah.
You go for the standards.
Standards, yeah. I'm a crooner, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah. No, Constance can sing. I can't sing, but I can sing It Had to Be You.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my song. Yeah.
What's her she can go all over the map.
All over
She's
the map.
not just limited to,
yeah, it's not fair. It's like, it actually like makes karaoke like kind of suck, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like she's a pro, and then all of us like don't want to sing anymore, you know? And then it's so we had fun up until when she started singing.
Yeah.
And then we all felt horrible about ourselves. But but she's great. She's so talented.
Now, have you been in contact with Eddie through the
here and there?
Yeah.
Throughout the time, yeah, we were definitely in contact, and I knew, you know, what was going on with him, and I mean, basically what was going on with him was what he was saying, you know, in public. He's one of those just open people. He's very honest, and that's his language. It's just honesty, you know, and he would relay to me things, you know, that he was going through, and it's tough. I couldn't imagine, you know, having your life story put out there and to not really have control over how it's being put out there. You know? So I understand where he's coming from.
I mean, you really have to have like some kind of supernatural ability to let it go, and I have no idea how you can do that.
But with that being said, I know for a fact that he, you know, he gets the significance of the show, and he understands like the importance of it, and I just hope that one day he looks back and actually like looks back with pride, you know, because it wouldn't have happened without him and his story and his honesty, you know. So we'll see if that day comes. I hope it does.
Your character, he's a good dad. Like I remember and I don't know how much you worked on this scene. I think it's maybe the finale or the episode before the finale where you're giving the talk to the son, the father's son.
The sex talk.
The sex talk, and just throwing out all kinds of little bits of wisdom. Gosh. How many things did they have for that scene? And did you write it all down? Well, you have a daughter, so
I have a daughter.
Your wife's going to be doing the talk.
I don't know. I want to be one of those dads who could talk to my daughter, you know, about anything, you know.
You say that now, but she's 3, so.
Yeah, I talk to her about everything. Yeah.
I think it gets a little harder.
Does it? I don't know. You know, because you have a 15-year-old. I mean, I hope to be, but we'll see. I don't know. I have a feeling I'll be a little clumsy with it, especially the sex talk. It makes me nervous just thinking about it. Yeah, my wife will do it. I won't do it.
That's good that we've worked through this.
Thank you so much for that.
If nothing else, this
no, that's what it was for. Can I go?
Yeah.
Am I done?
Well, it's a couple more. Couple more questions.
Okay.
More ground to cover.
But yeah, that scene in particular was so cool, and I don't know. I felt like for that character, it really embodied that character. That scene in particular embodies Lewis. It's like this guy who ultimately just loves his family so much, and is completely open and willing to go there with his family, you know, with his kids. I mean, I think during that sex talk, one of his lines was, it's like, you know how sneezes are really satisfying, but in a weird way, which is really a dirty way to put it. But he'll go there, you know, and that's what I really love about him. There's a very real, honest, sweet side of him that I feel like it, you know, in a way it's aspirational for, you know, especially in my family growing up with, you know, my dad. He was more on the kind of quiet, stoic side, you know, really funny guy, but in terms of talking about those things, you know, like sex, and I mean, he never talked to us about that stuff, you know. So it's cool to see an Asian dad on TV who goes there, you know. And you mentioned the interview before.
You know? coming just before this show came out. What was your experience with that? I kept, I saw like Seth out in the theater, finally when it comes out and Seth Rogen, goes to the movie theater on Christmas Day, I think, right? And comes out of hiding.
I was there with him. We
did.
Yeah, the day it premiered in LA, we got in a bus and we went to all the independent theaters that decided to show the movie, and we just gave stuff out to people. Okay. And and it was pretty cool. It was cool, but also kind of surreal, because you don't do that for movies usually, but this was more than a movie. It was a historical moment in a weird way.
Right. Yeah. Which almost like kind of dwarfed the movie. I mean,
yes, definitely.
There was so much hype about the movie that by the time it was seen, it was like people were expecting it to be just something it wasn't, right?
Yeah, it was really surreal. I mean, I love the movie. Like, I loved it. When I first read the script, I was like, this is so smart, this is so funny and so smart. And gosh, I understood the criticism, and I understood where people were coming from, but at the same time, it was like I felt like it was impossible to look at that movie outside of its context, and the context was so unusual and unprecedented. I was kind of bummed, because I was like, this is ultimately a really funny. And I think to this day a smart movie. Yeah. And a really stupid movie too, But that's my favorite comedy is the real stupid smart stuff, So it was surreal. It was very surreal.
And before, when it was pulled from theater, or and this whole time, what were you doing? I mean, like,
I was
did you have like paparazzi coming to your house?
Or we had at the beginning. Like when we first started, it first started popping up in the news, I was just like, oh, this is crazy, but kind of cool, know? And then I was just going to the market, I was just living my daily life, But then I noticed I'd be at the market and people would be looking at me like, what are you doing in the market? Shouldn't you be in hiding? And it just got to be so I'd hear that so often that I'd start thinking, maybe I should be in hiding,
Did that start freaking you out?
It started freaking me out. And then it really got, that was at the beginning too. And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, And before I knew it, I was in hiding, kind of. I'd be under my bed. Yeah. With a baseball bat, it was very strange. And then turning on the news and literally every second of the day, seeing my face on, they'd be talking about Kim Jong-un, but they'd use a photo of me. They'd use a photo of me from the movie, and they'd not even mention the movie. They'd just be talking about Kim Jong-un. And I'm like, do they know? That's not Kim Jong-un. That's me. Yeah. And I have to go to the market. It was real. It was crazy. But you know what? Sony was great. We did have security at our place, and they really took care of us, and made us feel a little better.
That's weird. So you really had security, like
we had like the 24/7 security guards at our home, and
like on the porch, or like
no, they'd be in the car parked across right in front, across the street, or in front. In regular cars, just like inconspicuous, but kind of conspicuous, because why is a guy in his car like 24 hours in front of my house? So neighbors would be coming by and they'd be like, and they'd call the police on the guards,
Neighborhood watch.
It's just great, which I'm really thankful for. But I didn't want to, say, we wanted to keep it inconspicuous, and but police would come and they'd talk to the guard, and before we knew it, after a while, like the neighbors they all knew, and they loved that the guards were there, actually, because they were keeping all the riffraff away from our,
Did they help with like paparazzi and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, we'd have reporters, I don't know, come to our door, and that was really weird, especially at the beginning, because it was like,
it's your house.
it's my house. Yeah. And we have a kid, and it's like, just, I don't know. And also I was just very, well, for good reason, just paranoid, you know? So that was weird, but the guards would tell the reporters to leave, and then they'd never come back, you know? So it was a strange time.
This was all happening on Christmas.
This was during
Merry
Christmas. Yeah.
Happy holidays. Yeah.
It was a strange.
Happy New Year.
Exactly. It was the weirdest time. But I don't know, you know, looking back, nobody got hurt. Well, some people, you know, maybe their lives were disrupted in a lot of ways, but nobody, at least physically, got hurt. Nobody died, and I'm just glad that we got through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a really great turn. I mean, just funny.
Thank you.
And, you know, playing him as this kind of insecure person who aches to be loved. Yeah. And the whole basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know, it rang true, and yet, you know, it's, you know, hyper real, but yeah, it was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I really loved it. You know, I've been doing this for, I don't know, good 12, 13 years at that point, and it never had the chance to play a lead in a major motion picture, you know. And then Seth and Evan gave me that chance, and so I really took it seriously, and I really wanted to play this guy a very specific way, you know, and it was just so fun and so fulfilling, you know, and I'm so glad that I got to do it, and got to do it how I wanted to do it, and that they were totally on board, and that it's unfortunate that it became such a huge thing, you know, but at least the movie is still there, and people get to see it. Yeah, because there was a time when we thought no one would ever see it.
Yeah, that it would just kind of disappear.
Yeah,
weird,
which was crazy.
Yeah,
just that thought. So it's good. It's all good. Yeah.
Now your wife is an actress.
Yeah, she's an actress,
and
we met in an audition,
which is it was like a bad audition. It was like the one good thing.
One thing. Yeah.
And your daughter.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this a little before.
Yeah.
Do you think that she is going to have the itch now that she's starred in her own television?
Her own.
Well, I guess it's not TV, it's her own web series.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I'm talking about Baby Mentalist.
Baby Mentalist. Look it up.
Oh, yeah. If you Google Randall Park, your website will be the first thing that comes up. I think, yes.
I think so.
And
I have not updated
Baby
that
Mentalist,
website.
there's like 11, 12, there's a lot.
Yeah, I think
shorts.
Gosh, I don't remember how many episodes there are, but yeah,
not enough.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a web series. It's like that TV show, The Mentalist, which I had never seen, but I just thought it was a funny title. And my daughter is like the lead detective. And at the time, she was like 8 months old when we started. And it's just, you know, a very gritty crime drama, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, and she is just so adorable. Like, in these just horrible situations, you cut to her and she has just like the cutest look on her face.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. It was like at the time, you know, we had Ruby, my daughter, and so, you know, we were really invested in just being with her, and you know, 8 months had passed, and I used to make a lot of stuff with this group called Channel 101, which is this monthly web series kind of competition and showcase in LA that was started by Dan Harmon and from Community and Rob Schraub, and I hadn't done anything for them in a while because we had this baby, you know, and Ruby was just getting to an age where I was like, oh, maybe we could make something with her, you know, so we could still be with her and still be creative, and came up with that idea. And and all she does is just sit there in her high chair and all the action happens around her, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
She's holding a gun occasionally.
On occasion, yeah.
And firing.
And firing, yeah. Well, she got trained in that. Like, we
Yes.
actually took her to the shooting range, and she was like a good shot. So we're
Very
like,
proficient.
I think, yeah. So I was thinking like, yeah, I think she could do the show. So,
which is curious why you needed the security then around the time of the interview. You had her.
We did have her. That was Sony. I told them, I was like, well, my daughter's trained in firearms, so
they're like, okay, we just want to be on the safe side.
Yeah. Well, while the security was parked, my daughter was on the roof, just like walking back and forth with the rifle. So,
sniper.
Yeah. 24/7. So we were good. Yeah.
You have any? But I mean, would you be okay if she decided to pursue it?
Yeah, I mean, we're not like now. Once she started walking, we stopped. We actually like ended the series like voluntarily, because at that point she, if she didn't want to do it, she would walk away, and we didn't want to have to force her to be there. So as she gets older, if she expresses an interest, then I think we'd let her. Maybe into her teens, I don't know, around your daughter's age, maybe we'd let her. I'd want to be open to it, just because my family was so kind of against it when I wanted to do it.
Were they?
And I was like almost 30 when I like decided to like pursue acting professionally.
And your parents were just like, what?
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, I mean, for good reason. It was like, you're not, it's so hard, it's so hard. There's no roles out there for you. There's no, how many famous Asian people do you know, and and for good reason. They were looking out for me, but it's just something I had to do, so I did it, and now they're super supportive. But because of that, I would let my daughter go for it. So
they must be really happy this past few months then.
Except
for the whole security thing.
But they were even a little bit excited because I got in the Korean newspaper. You get in the Korean newspaper, you made it. That's like winning an Academy Award for my parents. So that was a big deal. So they're super happy and supportive now, and it's pretty cool.
Well, thank you for stopping by. Looking forward to season 2.
Thank you.
Off the boat. Now that'll be, when is it coming back?
It's coming back in September.
So soon.
Soon.
We don't have to wait until the new year.
No. We'll come back in September. It should be amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Glenn.
For more of these conversations, please go to latimes.com. Thank you for watching.
We're supposed to wave here now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.